Hey everyone, and thank you for joining again. In this video I will show you how you can make this super quick and easy cute little bag here. This is how it looks like. And as usual, please check out the video description for the material details. So to start the bag, we made 39 chain stitches. Now we start in chain number 3, counted from the hook, and make a slip stitch here. Then we make a half double crochet, and a slip stitch, and a half double crochet, and in this way you go on until the end of the row. So always make slip stitch and half double crochet in turn. This is how your first row looks like, and it's important that every row ends on a slip stitch. So I already made the half double crochet here and the slip stitch, sorry. Now we chain 2 for the turn. This is the first half double crochet of the row, which means we skip the first stitch and poke in the second one here and make a slip stitch there. And from there on, go on with a half double crochet and slip stitch in turn until the end of the row. By the way, this pattern is called crunch stitch, and I have a separate tutorial for it that I will also link in the video description. So if you need a more detailed explanation for this pattern, please have a look at the other tutorial as well. As I already said, every row has to end on a slip stitch, and you can see that I made the half double crochet here, and I show it to you so detailed because it's super easy to oversee this turning chain here. And this turning chain is the loop where we have to make our slip stitch. So poke in there like this. So it's totally fine if you only reach one loop of the turning chain, like me, and slip stitch. This is really important because if you don't end with a slip stitch, your stitch count will be off. So if your row ends on a half double crochet, this is not the end of the row. And I just made 2 chains for the turn and then skipped the first loop to make my first slip stitch of the row in the second loop. After 57 rows, this is how the bag looks like. And now we want to have straight edges. Therefore, I already chained one. Then we turn around and we now make 1 row single crochet. At the end of the row, this is where you poke in. And we make a single crochet, chain, single crochet in this shown loop here. Now, on the edge of the bag, you will always see these little loops here. These ones. And left and right of these loops is where we poke in. So this loop here, then on the other side, then this loop here, on the other side, this loop here, on the other side. So it's easiest to make out these first loops that I showed you and then poke in right and left of them. So this is the loop that I showed you first. Poke in right of it. Make a single crochet. Then this is again the loop. Poke in left. Then this is the loop again. Poke in right from it. Then poke in left. Then again, you have this loop, poke in on the right, and so on. So I think on the sides here, it is clear where you have to poke in. Just go on like this. Then you reach the loop of the slip knot. There you make a single crochet, chain, single crochet. Then work along the lower side of the foundation chain. Then use this loop here to make single crochet, chain, single crochet. And the other side looks like the side we are currently on again. And we meet again when you're here. This is our bag so far. And we end the round with a fake stitch. I already cut the thread here. And now we need this loop, the first loop. poke in below both loops of this stitch, pull the thread through, and then bring it back to the middle of the current stitch. This is how you poke in. This is how you poke in. And pull the thread through. And this is the fake stitch. As you can see, it blends in the rest of the stitches. Now you can just sew this thread. And the main part is finished. Now for the sides, we make 16 chains, and then starting in the second chain from the hook, we go back with single crochet. At the end of the row, we chain 1, turn around, and again go back with single crochet. Now look for the turning chain, which is this one here, and this is the loop where we will work in. And in this first round here, it's totally fine if you only reach one thread of the turning chain and poke in like this, and then make 2 single crochet here. When the 2 single crochet are finished, you just go on along the lower side of the foundation chain and work single crochet there as well. Now you go on until the end of the row, chain 1, turn around, and we meet again here. There we are. And now we will double both of the 2 single crochet that we made in the turning chain. So these are the 2 single crochet, and we make 2 single crochet in both of them. So that will increase our stitch count in this corner area here from 2 to 4. Afterwards, you just continue with single crochet. Our side is now nearly finished, and we will now work in these loops here along the small side. This one then on the left side from the knot, and this one here. I already chained one, and now poke in the shown loops and make a single crochet in each of them. Now chain one, and we will use slip stitches to connect the side part to the main part. Therefore, check on the main part, which is the corner stitch, then poke in the stitch. I always double check if this is indeed the right stitch to start in. Then poke in the stitch in this lower loop here, poke in the side part, and slip stitch. That was a little fast. So we make a few further stitches, poke in the lower loop of the main part, poke in this loop of the side part, and slip stitch. Then again poke in this loop of the main part, in this loop of the side part, slip stitch. And this is how you go on all around the side panel. So I was asked to show how to slip stitch the other side. It's easier to get this on camera like this, so I hope this is fine for you. Again, check for the corner stitch, poke in, then poke in through the side panel and slip stitch. Then again, poke in the main part, poke in the side part, slip stitch. So the technique is basically the same, but the way I'm holding everything is slightly different. As you can see, the thread is outside the bag. The other side of the side panel is showing to the outside, but except of that, I basically poke in the same loops. And then slip stitch. In the end, I cut a long piece of the thread and fixed the D-rings with a few stitches. Then I already placed the upper side of the lock on the edge of the flap. And now we have these little screws here. You now just grab them. They're magnetic, so they hold to your screwdriver. Place them in the lock and then fix it. Take the second one. And the part of the lock is fixed. Now the lower part of the lock, check for the right position where it has to be placed. So I close the lock, then see where it has to be placed, and afterwards poke these little spikes here through the bag. Check again if it's indeed correct. That looks good. And then you have the spikes on the inside. Place this little metal plate around them like this. So you need 2 of these metal plates, and then bend the spikes around and the lower part is fixed. And that's it. I hope you like your new bag, and if you like the tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.